I've been binge free for 120 days now, roughly, so that's 4 months, and I've been promising this video for a solid 3. Also good to note that I've been dieting while also being binge free. Let that sink in, because that used to be one of my biggest trigger. As soon as I would consider, okay, maybe let's, track calories or let's try to lose weight, immediate binge. Not anymore. So if you've tried to lose weight but struggle with binge eating so it feels impossible to get anywhere, let me give you basically exactly what I've done from struggling for 6 years with binge eating, losing and gaining the same 15 pounds, if not gaining some more sometimes, to now having lost 25 pounds, 20 while tracking, 5 it was kind of a effortless, didn't pay attention, it just happened type of thing because I've stopped binging. I'm gonna walk you through the exact journey and the exact process that I used for myself and all of my clients so we can stop binge eating and finally lose the weight effortlessly. Let's get into it. Chapter 1, let's talk about rock bottom, because I had mine back in March, right before I was about to go back to France, and I was like, I hate that I've been to the US twice and every single time I come back overweight. This time I will actually come back having lost some without even tracking, without even trying, so that's great, but besides the point. And I was so my boyfriend was away, he was at work, and I was eating so much and I felt sick and I couldn't stop, and it was like 2 a.m. because he worked night shifts at that time, and I just felt awful, and I kept being like, please let it be the last time, this needs to be the last time, like I can't do this anymore, I know it's so bad for my health. I was literally on Google saying, looking up symptoms for diabetes and all of those type of diseases, because I just felt so awful in my body, and I was gaining weight so quickly. I felt lethargic, literally the sugar withdrawal from the next day when you try to not eat, oh fine, let's skip breakfast, let's skip lunch, and then you binge again. It was just such a bad cycle. All I could think about was food, and I think my rock bottom was when I got angry at my boyfriend, or not angry, but just annoyed because he wouldn't go to work yet. And I mean, he always goes like 6 p.m. or whatever. And I was angry because I was like, come on, just go so I can binge. And then I realized this is bad. That, and the Googling, diabetes symptoms, because that was bad too. And also just seeing my weight gain and how big I felt like I was getting, and I stopped this. You can't see it, but this short, it's in large, so you definitely it's nice to sleep in, but I was barely fitting into it, and I felt gross in it and all of that. So that was my rock bottom, okay? And I feel like when you get there, you don't have anything else to lose, and you're just you know what, fuck it, this needs to, I can't go any lower, let me just go back up. I keep talking about that, what's the word? Switch in the brain, basically the switch, it's the light to turn it on, you flip the switch, and immediately it was a rock bottom, and then I decided, you know what, fuck that is not me, why am I doing that? I'm making myself miserable, I hate what I'm doing, it has huge negative consequences on me, why am I doing that? And that was rock bottom, meant that flip switch thing. And from there, I was able to go up. So I did. The thing is, at that time, this was I don't have a script, that's gonna be awful, ingrained into my identity. I was a binge eater. That's who I was. That's why I could not lose the weight. That's why I loved food and I had to buy these specific types of food. I was a binge eater. And when you are so tied to this identity, how can you let go if you're attached to this identity? So the first thing I did was decide, who is that? That's not me. Who's that person in the kitchen binge eating? This was sort of that out-of-body experience of seeing yourself and being like, why am I doing that? Who is doing that? Who is that? And from there, you're just so much more able to get out of this, because I started slowly to detach myself from this identity. And I tell about this in all of my videos. I'm going to be like, you got to have the identity of a runner if you want to run, of someone who's fit if you want to lose the weight, all of that, because it comes from within every single time. You can't have without stuff, outside stuff, have any type of impact in you and have any type of change unless it comes from within first. So the first thing I had to do was realize, this isn't me. Who do I want to become? because you can't really detach yourself if you don't have something else to hold on to. So I had to decide, who am I? And I'm someone who does not like, who is healing her relationship with food. I'm someone who can eat a cookie without it turning into a binge. I'm someone who loves eating healthy because it fuels my body and it gives all the nutrients so I can feel strong and healthy and great and energized. I'm someone who is disciplined. I can't say no to a cookie without feeling deprived because I know the impact. But I'm also someone who is flexible and I can't eat the cookie without feeling bad. So it was about redesigning. That's literally, like, practically, that's the first step. Decide, who do you want to be? And this is, like, I want to say life-changing. It is very life-changing, because when you do that, you just feel so much better. You're like, okay, you've got like that bridge. You've got who you were and who you want to be, and you just, once you know exactly who that identity is, it's so much easier. That might be chapter 2, design the new identity. That's the protocol. We're just gonna go straight into that. I'm sorry, it's a little bit messy, but it's fine. And you hold on to that vision of, this is who I want to be, and step by step by step by step, you get to become that, and you practice that. Now, why I'm talking about step by step by step is because the problem that I had before, which created the binge, is that I was all or nothing, and I had to go from 0 to 100 immediately instead of doing it step by step by step. And that's pretty much what fucked me over in the first place, because I would have to be perfect all the time, and if not, I would binge. I think I made a video about my story. Like, I don't know. Point being, at first I wanted to lose a few pounds. Good. I did. Very unhealthy, because I went from 0 to 100, very low calories, a lot of exercise, and that made me snap and binge. And from that moment on, I kept struggling with it. Once you fall in the cycle, it's very difficult to get out of it, especially on your own. Like, I really don't recommend. It sucked. That's why I have a community and like one-on-one coaching to actually help you, and I'm very good at what I do, because I know exactly what it feels like, and it's very different to work with someone who doesn't know what it feels like to binge, because they're going to be like, well, stop eating when you're full. It's fine to have the cookie. You don't need to lose weight. What are you talking about? You don't need to restrict. No, that's not the way my brain works. Thank you very much. Anyways, the thing is, I was trying to go from 0 to 100, and I decided this does not work. This is very unsustainable, whether it's for fat loss, whether it's for healing, or anything else that I want to do in my life. So let's take it step by step, because if we talked about what didn't work, it was the 0 to 100, the all or nothing, the diet, the intermittent fasting, the very crazy diet, and very huge intermittent fasting, because when I did, what would I do? No, I would not do 12-12, not even 14-10. I would have to do like 24, like 20 hours of fasting and then 4 hours of eating. No, of course you're gonna binge. That's ridiculous. Anyways, that's a huge thing. I decided this process, I don't care how long it's gonna take me, I'm gonna go step by step by step by step. We'll see how long it takes me. If it takes me 3 years, so be it. I don't care. But in the meantime, the only thing that matters, and listen to that, this is so key, the only thing that matters isn't my weight, it's healing. I don't care. I'm going to stop trying to lose weight until I know that binge eating is no longer part of me. And that was a huge decision, because usually I would be like, okay, I have to white knuckle through this. I can be more disciplined and have more willpower over the binge eating, so I won't do it. I can be in the deficit. I know I've got this. No. That's like the one thing that made me binge, was trying to lose weight. After you've decided your identity, I'm not a binge eater, the second step then is decided, you know what? Let's drop for a hot second the weight loss, and let's go step by step by step. And the first step is, I need to stop the binge eating. It is scary, because when you decide I'm going to stop binge eating, what's the thing you're going to do? So what did I do the next day after that rock bottom, after deciding, you know what, I'm going to not identify as a binge eater anymore? I had to allow myself all the food. If I wanted a morning snack, so be it. If I wanted an afternoon snack, so be it. If I wanted to eat more, eat less, whatever, I had to allow myself whatever food I wanted, because I knew that it was that restriction, both in terms of quantity, heavy restriction, and quality. Couldn't eat the things I was craving that led to the binges in the first place. And I couldn't have that. So I figured, you know what, it is scary, but I'm going to allow myself to eat however much I want. And I know that for the first few days, I was overeating. Little, tip here. After a binge, funnily enough, you are going to be hungrier. So you have to honor that hunger if you don't want to fall back into the pattern. So I had to do that. That's exactly what I did. I decided, okay, let's eat however much I want. And at first you eat a lot because you're like, oh my God, that's so cool to have this freedom. Then you eat a lot. And then it's gonna stop. Like, I promise you, a lot of people come into like this program being like, is it really gonna stop? I feel like if I'll just binge eat, or at least I'll overeat until the rest of my life. No, I'm here to tell you that at some point, the food you used to restrict and crave will get boring, because you'll be like, I have access to that food all the time. Do I actually like it? Do I really want it every day? Am I really craving it? Or is it because I had the restriction? Because think about it, your brain is, as I keep saying, a child. So when you do, allow yourself to have that food, it's not going to think about the thing that you used to not being able to have that much, because now you can have it. So what's the point of thinking about it? And that gives you so much more mental space. But it really comes from, at first you have that period. I'm not even going to tell me how long it took me or any of my clients to go through that phase, because it doesn't matter. And everyone's going to have a different, like timing. Just allow yourself, after the last binge, after you've decided, I don't want to be this anymore, allow yourself to eat. And you can say, well, what if I gain weight? Aren't you going to gain weight anyways if you keep struggling with binge eating? Yes, you are. You're going to gain less weight or less fast by doing it this way than by doing it, by trying to binge and restrict and keep fighting. No, for a few weeks, I was able to eat very intuitively. I got better at listening to my hunger cues, and my hunger got back to normal after a while, which was amazing. I wasn't feeling like I was constantly overeating anymore, which was really nice. And after a while, I decided, okay, this time I'm gonna go back into fat loss. And that's the spring cut, by the way. But I'm gonna do it the smart way, which is the fucking sustainable way. I know that if I wanna lose weight, I need to be in a calorie deficit. I'm not gonna try to lose weight now, but what I need to do, because I know that when I would track very low intake, and that's not good. But I know that tracking will allow me to be in enough of a deficit that I see results without being too much of a deficit. Because the problem when I did every other diet that didn't include tracking was I was trying to gaslight myself into being like, I'm not hungry, I can, leave most of that away, or I can throw that food, or, eat that later. And so I was eating very low amounts because I was not tracking, and using this as an excuse of no, I'm listening to my body, I'm fine. And that would also lead to a binge, because I was over restricting from already an over restrictive diet. So I decided I need to track calories so I can have a good enough amount. But the problem is right now, tracking calories lead to a binge. So what do? I will have to associate tracking calories with safety. At first, for a few days, and this actually only took a few days. I only did that for 4 days maybe. I tracked what I ate in hindsight. I would eat, there's a call. I would eat, and then I would figure out, okay, how much have I eaten right now? And how many calories is that? And that was more of a point of, I'm curious, how much does my body need right now? More than I need to hit this specific amount. So I did that just to add that type of association in my brain between I can track food without it meaning anything more than I'm curious, I want to know, am I eating enough? Am I eating too much? Am I eating enough protein? Stuff like that. So I did that for a few days, and then I decided, now let me calculate my maintenance. That meant going on a scale, and I think I have this specific clip from it because it was shocking. I had been, avoiding going on a scale for a hot second because I knew that it would be so much higher than what I was used to, because the moment I was in the US was very much binging for 6 weeks straight. It was very bad. And it was a little bit of a slap in the face, but I also was happy that I was able to face the truth, because I knew that if I wasn't, if I don't know where I'm starting from, how am I supposed to know where I'm going? And then figure out exactly what my maintenance was. That's when I decided I'm gonna eat that maintenance, at that maintenance. And I did that again for a few weeks. From there, once I felt very safe, I really got into a rhythm. I had started, exercising as well. So it felt already pretty much taking care of myself, not punishment. So I decided, let's try to get back into fat loss, because I haven't binged in a while. Feels good. I haven't, like, I think, no, I don't want to give you a time frame, but I hadn't binged in a long time. And that's the first time I had, like, that's the longest streak I hadn't had a binge in for 6 years. So I decided, I think we're getting better now. And so the next step was, let's try to get back into a deficit. 10%. I know that you want to go faster, but at first, when you're healing from binge eating, 10%, maybe 15. That is it. Don't try to overdo it. Don't try to go faster, because that's not going to be, like, that's what is going to lead you back into the binge restrict. 10, 15%. I did that, and then when I felt better, I went to 500 calories. And that's what allowed me to lose like those 20 pounds in 4 months. But what you need to realize is, some of my clients say, no, I'm going to stay at 10, 15 because I'm seeing amazing results and I haven't binged in such a long time. This is so far away from me that I don't know who that person was. Like, I'm so different from that version of me who used to binge. I don't want to do this anymore. And actually, sustainable and slow is nice because I have all that food, all that energy. It feels good. So you don't have to go faster. You can start 10, 15% for 12 weeks. I don't recommend going for like a longer deficit, because after that, it's just hard on your body still and your mind. So then you reverse diet, intuitive eating for a while if you want, and then you start again, like the cycle. You're gonna see results. And the thing is, you can say, it's gonna take such a long time. What do you think, like, will get you further? Binge restrict forever? Or taking it slowly, healing your relationship with food and stop binge eating, and then going back into a healthy deficit, even if it's a slow one? Of course, it's the second. Of course, you're going to go further, you're going to lose more, and you're going to actually lose for good if you do it the right way. And as I've said at the very beginning, the problem is that at first I was over-restrictive in terms of quantity, so that's what I fixed with only being in a 10 to 15% calorie deficit, but I also was restrictive in terms of the quality of the food. So that means that I would tend to eat perfectly all the time. And I decided, I think I need to do that a little bit differently. So I followed the 75-25 rule. 75% of the time, yes, as healthy as I can. I know that my body needs the nutrients. 25% is whatever the fuck I wanted. And since I ate 4 times per day, so breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner, that means that one of these got to be whatever I want. To this day, I can eat whatever I want and I'm still losing weight. Like, I'm not trying. I mean, obviously I'm running, but I haven't gone to the gym in a while and I'm not tracking calories. And yesterday I had a burger, and today I'm baking a cake, and I still lost weight because I don't binge anymore. And you might feel like, no, I need to control the amount, I need to control the food, I need to be like very restrictive. No, when you detach from that and when you know what, like, let go. I'm going to focus on feeling better about myself and better around food. And then we'll see the weight loss. And that weight loss is going to take a while. I accept it. And I want to feel better in my body. And I want the process to feel good enough that I don't go back to the binge restrict. That's like basically when you unlock the secret. That's how you stop binge eating and then lose the weight. Step by step by step. Don't restrict. Stop restricting. I know it's scary, I get that. And that's why you may need a coach, someone who's going to hold your hand. And actually, oh my God, there is a huge thing that I forgot to talk about. Relapses. You will relapse. And I'm saying, haven't binged it 4 months, which is the truth. But I had like 2 episodes of binge eating on my healing journey. And I was very open about them on social media because I figured, if I'm open enough about them, people will realize you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect. And healing isn't linear anyways. So that's why I had to share that with you. And that's why I did share like everything that happened and the food I ate and all of that, because I knew that if I was transparent and very honest with you of saying, this is what happened, this is normal, you're going to be more open with yourself, maybe with other people. Even more importantly, my clients will be more open with me. Because now, if they binge, I'm going to be the first one they talk to. And I know that binge eating is such like a big, not necessarily taboo, but I know that you don't really want to talk to other people about it because it's kind of a shame thing. They go to me. And that's how we really can heal, because we are like, okay, what happened? What were the triggers? Were you restricted? Was it like a coping mechanism because you were stressed? Like, okay, that's another thing that like I really need to talk about, which is emotional eating. Okay, what can we do? Let's find solutions and all of that. That came from me being honest and saying, hey guys, I've binged yesterday, I've binged today, this is what happened, this is how I feel now, this is what I'm doing. And every time I would relapse, even if it was on my fat loss journey, I would take a break immediately and decide, okay, the next day I'm not tracking, I'm just like eating. If I overeat, it's fine. And then I would do that for a little bit longer, and I would just do the entire process that I've talked to you about. Just, it would take a shorter amount of time because I didn't have to associate tracking, for example, with like no binge, because it was already done in my brain. Editing flow here, one major thing that I forgot to mention was that on this, you know, path of recovery, you're gonna have urges too. Not only are you gonna binge, you're also gonna have urges, and that is fine. The way I would deal with them is just wait them out. Like, basically set out a timer. That's my biggest tip, because that's like what helped the most. You wanna set a timer for like 10 minutes because that's usually the peak of an urge, and go do something. Go take a shower, go do your makeup, do your nails, online shopping. That was huge for me. I would do online shopping. Go for a walk, call a friend. Just for 10 minutes. You say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna have that urge. I'm gonna set a timer for 10 minutes, and if I still feel like binging after, I will. I can very much promise you that this is the peak of an urge, so as soon as you wait it out, it's gonna be gone. And the second thing I used to do was setting up a reward system. So that's why I said I would do online shopping. Basically be like, you know what? I have an urge. If I wait it out and don't end up going to the shops to buy food for a binge, I'm going to buy something else, because I was going to spend the money anyway. So might as well spend it on something that I wanted. And I would spend it on whatever I wanted. Sometimes it was a book, sometimes it was jewels, sometimes it was clothes. I think I bought a workout outfit with that when it was like a very like big urge. I was going to spend the money anyways. And yeah, those are the main tips to wait out an urge. Now, if you're someone who's been struggling with binge eating, you feel like you've tried everything, this video was very chaotic, and hopefully you'll still be able to see a process in that. I can help you, and I want to help you, because I know what it feels like to be stuck in a body you hate, with behavior you hate, in a lifestyle you don't like, and you hate that you're doing that to yourself. So again, I have a community down below, I have one-on-one coaching, and I would love to help you. So just book a call with me, let's chat, let's see where you're at, and let's see how I can help you. I know I can, and I would love to help. But yeah, this was how I've been struggling with binge eating for 6 years, and then the two main tools that helped me get out of it for good.